Hey guys, it's Heather. With spring here and summer right around the corner, today we're going to expand on my tanning series videos. I have done a few now, which will be linked below. I don't want to get too much into it right now because I want to just give you guys all the information quickly, thoroughly, so you have all the information in front of you before you go ahead and make a decision at what tanner to buy or what tanner is right for you. So if you're here, you've probably seen some of my other tanning videos. I've done a tanning video comparing St. Tropez and Loving Tan. I've done a application, like all of my tips and tricks on how to get a really good tan. And then last summer I did one on one of my new favorites. This is the St. Tropez Whipped Marshmallow. I believe this is limited edition and it smells really, really good. So this year I wanted to try out Bondi sand. I see a ton of influencers raving about this on social media, like Instagram, YouTube, etc. And I know you can get it at like Walgreens, the drugstore, Target, you can get it at Ulta. So I had to see what the hype was about and to see, is it really, really good? So in this video, I'm gonna insert like all of my tanning clips of me doing the application so you can see all that, and then kind of like my thoughts and a ranking of all of these and who I think that they would be good for. So to start this video off, I'm gonna go over how I did my application with Bondi Sands really quick, and then we'll get into like the comparison of all the tanners and how they perform in each category, like as far as stickiness, smell, streaking, darkness, color tone, all that stuff. We'll get into all that after I do the application. So I've showered, shaved, and exfoliated using the Tree Hut Sugar Scrub as usual, and I'm going in with some lotion now, and I'm just gonna be applying that to trouble areas like my wrists, my hands, a little bit on my elbows, my knees, and my ankles. I'm ready to go in with the tanner now, giving it a good shake, and I'm going to start with a couple of pumps for my arms. This is what it looks like. So again, I start using my forearms, my upper arms, and I hit like my elbows and any trouble areas last. So you want to make sure you're getting your elbows and like under your arms and your wrist area last. So I'm just repeating those same steps on my other arm. And I'm using the Bondi Sands Mitt. I really, really like it. I would definitely recommend it. Moving on to my chest area, I'm gonna go in with a couple pumps here and just make sure it's nice and massaged into my neck and my back. And then lastly, I go into my legs, and I do about 3 pumps to start on my legs. Again, I do like my shin, my calf area, and my thighs, and then I go in with any excess over my knees last. I'm trying to show you the color difference between the 2 legs. So now moving on to my face, I'm doing 1 pump and I'm using like a foundation brush. I always do my face first with the brush, and then I move on to doing my hands and my feet, obviously for sanitary reasons. I just feel like when you use the brush, it gives the best airbrushed color. Same thing with my hands, just really working it in there. And you'll be able to see that difference between like where my glove was. So I'm just really blending it in, making sure everything is nice and blended. Same with my ankles and my feet, just really blending it in, making sure there's no streaks or lines of demarcation. Now I'm gonna hang out and wait for 6 to 8 hours before washing it off. So starting with Bondi Sands, you get like 7 fluid ounces in this bottle. So it is rather large, and I got this for $26. This is the ultra dark. They also have it in like a dark and a light medium, and those two are like $24. I'm not sure what the price difference is about. I had tried, I think, the light medium a couple years ago, and I didn't find that it gave me any color. Hence the reason why I chose the ultra dark this time. Plus I wanted to get something that was as comparable to the Loving Tan ultra dark. This gets me the absolute darkest out of all of them. But with that said, it isn't my favorite, and I'm gonna tell you why. So with Loving Tan, first of all, you get 4 fluid ounces for like 40 bucks. So you can get almost double that for a lot less. This stuff is among the priciest of some of the tanners, and do I think it's worth it? In some case, yes, I do. I think that you can totally get away with buying 1 bottle like this, and then you can get away with buying like a Bondi Sands or a St. Tropez. And I like to mix them together. So here's why. To get you the darkest, I definitely think that Loving Tan is going to get you the darkest. It is going to last the longest out of all of these tanners. And by the longest, I mean like a week. I'm not talking like 2 weeks or a month or anything crazy like that. And obviously if you're swimming, If you're showering, scrubbing, exfoliating, shaving, all of that, it's gonna wash off quicker. That's just the way it goes. But side-by-side test comparison, this does last the longest on my skin. So as far as application, so for Bondi Sands, it's good. I would say it is almost like if Saint Tropez and Loving Tan had a baby. So it's very like emollient and moisturizing like Loving Tan. I would say out of Loving Tan, Bondi Sands, and Saint Tropez, the one that is like right after you put it on the stickiest for me would be Saint Tropez by far. Then it would be Bondi Sands, like a little bit of stickiness, nothing annoying. And then the least amount of stickiness would be the Loving Tan. But with that being said, what that also means is when you're applying the tan, the forgiveness that comes with it. Loving Tan might be suited for a more advanced tanner, because if you're not really getting in there quickly, you might get some streaking, and because it's not as moisturizing, I don't find it to be as moisturizing. Like it's not as forgiving when you're blending it in on your skin. Whereas the Bondi Sands and the Saint Tropez, both of these, it doesn't matter what scent you get, are both the same. So if stickiness bothers you, you might not like the Saint Tropez for that reason. So let's talk streaking. So I think that out of all three tanners, I think the most streaky or patchy tan would have to go to the Bondi Sands. And again, when I'm applying my tan, I am like, you'll see in the clips, I'm getting in there, like my triceps are burning, my shoulders, like I'm getting a full arm workout. If you wanna get the best application, you wanna be feeling that burn and really like getting in there. And as you'll see, like I hit my arms here, I hit my arms up here, and I avoid elbows. I do it last. I avoid my hands until the end. That's why I wear gloves. Same with my feet. I avoid that whole area until the end. And then my knees, I apply the tan everywhere else on my leg and then kind of use what's left over on the mitt, and then I get my knees. I find that's what works the best, because if you go ham and you're hitting your elbow and your knee like right at the jump, you're gonna be looking real dark here. Watch, I have like a huge ring. It's not too bad. I just have ugly elbows, but you're gonna be looking real dark on your knees. Like it's not gonna look good at all. I get a very even application with both the Saint Tropez. I am very happy with it. I think that it is worth the price. However, it is such a slight difference as far as application goes that I don't think that anyone would really notice. Like my hands a little bit, they look a little bit orange to me, even the tone, and I went with the ultra dark. So I think the color is a little bit more orange than the Saint Tropez. Like I like the color I get better with the Saint Tropez. And I'll also say, if you're curious about the Saint Tropez, this one is the Express. It's the 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 1 hour for light tan, 2 for medium, 3 for dark. I leave this stuff on. I think I've left it on for like 3 hours here and there, but I don't get the best tan. I like to at least leave it on for like 6 to 8 hours. The Bondi Sands, you're supposed to leave on for 6 hours. I left it on for probably 10 hours yesterday. And then the Loving Tan is 8 hours. You can totally sleep in the tanners. I like to wear dark clothes, and when I'm just kind of like lounging around, you know, you don't want to be like washing your hands and getting them wet. Wear gloves, maybe avoid doing laundry, avoid doing dishes, those kinds of things. So if scent is your thing, like the smell really stinks, I'm just gonna be straightforward with you. These tanners have DHA in them, and you can't get around that stench of that smell. I don't even know how, it's like a burnt smell. I don't even know how to describe it, but depending on your body chemistry, some people may not notice it much, and some people may really notice it as their tan is starting to develop. For me, I notice it probably about an hour after I apply the self tanner. I continue to notice it after I've showered and rinsed everything off, and I continue to notice it a little bit like throughout that night or the next day. But if I put on like a little bit of lotion, like I'll just toss the Bum Bum cream on right after I get out of the shower, and it really kind of tones it down. Another thing you could do if it was really bothering you is to neutralize it with like a baby powder or something like that. Just like rub it on your skin. That will also help prevent any like transfer onto your sheets. Honestly, with all of these, I don't have too much transfer on anything. I will say by far the most I've had with the Bondi Sands. I noticed that after I had put on my clothes yesterday, and I had dark clothes on, and I waited quite a bit. It says like wait like 30 seconds or a minute or something. I probably waited like a good 20 minutes to 30 minutes and I still noticed some transfer. I also noticed a little bit of transfer on my sheets, not a big deal at all. Like nothing a lot, but definitely more so than the other tanners. I don't even know how I got into transfer, but let's get back into the way they smell. So if you're going by like application, I would say out of all 4 of these, my number 1 would be the whipped marshmallow. It smells really, really good, but an hour into it, you're gonna start smelling that DHA. Again, it's nothing crazy. The Bondi Sands has a really nice coconut smell. It's like not overpowering. As far as the Loving Tan and the regular, the original Saint Tropez, not bad, but they're definitely not as fragrant in my opinion as the Bondi Sands and the whipped marshmallow. So again, a couple tips to beat that scent is put on a fragrant lotion and then use a little baby powder or something to neutralize the scent if it is really bothering you. All right, let's talk transfer and lasting power. Number 1 would definitely be Loving Tan. Lasts the longest. Saint Tropez, both formulas would be coming in at number 2. And then number 3 for me personally would be Bondi Sands. As far as a color tone, the darkest with the ultra dark, this gets me the darkest. Next up would be the Saint Tropez and then the Bondi Sands. I feel like the Bondi Sands was more of like a wash of color. Like I have it on right now. It looks nice, like don't get me wrong, it looks nice, but for ultra dark, I thought that it would be performing more so along the same lines as the Loving Tan. So now I'm gonna grab each product and do a quick like features, benefits, and then like pros and cons kind of thing. So the Bondi Sands, obviously the price is a huge benefit of this. 7 ounces for like 25 bucks is amazing. It is super affordable. This bottle is gonna last you all summer. If you're applying your tan once a week, say for 8 weeks, for me, this is gonna last you all summer. The cons, I think to get like a deep dark color, you would have to apply it once and then maybe again the next day, or it says, what does it say? It says, apply again in 30 minutes. For me personally, I just don't have the time. And even if I did have the time, I don't know if I would want to spend like hours putting on my tanner because I feel like I do a very thorough job. I'm like really kind of scrubbing in, and to have to do that again is not something that I want to do. So for me, that is definitely a con. Another thing that would be a con with this would be the color, especially on my hands, and I have the same problem with Loving Tan, which is kind of funny. It tends to get very orange and patchy when I do my hands. Now I do like an airbrush technique on my hands with a brush rather than using the mitt because I find that that works the best. On my feet, I didn't have any issues with the Bondi Sands. With the Loving Tan, sometimes I do have an issue on my feet with that one. But we'll get into the Loving Tan in a little bit. I think this has an amazing scent. I think that it's gonna get the job done for you. If you already have a little bit of a tan, I think it'll just give you a really, really nice glow. So because of that, the Bondi Sands comes in last for me, but it's very close. Like it is a very, very good product. Maybe I need to play with it more. What I would also like to do is mix this in with the Loving Tan. Do like 2 pumps of the Bondi Sands and maybe like 1 pump of the Loving Tan and see how that does. Maybe it will give me a little deeper of a color because I love mixing in my Saint Tropez with a little bit of the Loving Tan to get the benefit of that deeper looking tan as well as the lasting power. It's funny how like I wish you could just kind of mesh everything in together to get like the perfect tanner. But overall, I would buy this again. I think it is a really good product. Another pro for this, safe for use in pregnancy, and it is vegan. That may be super appealing to a lot of people, and I can totally understand why they would gravitate towards this. Plus, if you already have a deeper skin tone, like if you already get a really nice olivey tan, I can see how this looks beautiful on people that already have like a little bit of a deeper skin tone. But if you're like super fair, like winter white, and you're just coming into the season, this may not be the best. The race is so tight. I have to try this ultra dark a couple more times, I think. But right now, I like what I like. So, all right, next up are the Saint Tropez products. I would say out of all time, Saint Tropez is still my favorite. It is very forgiving when you put it on. It is very easy to work with. You get a really, really nice color. I like that they offer it in the Express Tan. I think that it does work. So if you can leave it on for like 4 hours and then rinse it off, I think that you'll be getting a really nice tan. And I just like how forgiving it goes on. It doesn't get patchy on my hands. And the color on me is not orange. It's like a very olive, natural looking tan. And it just applies very evenly. The Mitt's really nice too. I always use the Mitt. So I like that they have the whipped marshmallow scent. I've been using this one a lot because I really, really like the scent. So let me talk about the cons of this one really quick. You don't get as dark as the Loving Tan Ultra Dark. It is very sticky after you put it on. It feels a little bit uncomfortable. It's one of the things that I really don't like about this product, but it does eventually go away. But out of all the tanners I've tried, the Saint Tropez is by far the biggest offender of that like stickiness, like you put on too much lotion feeling. Another pro about this is the expiration is actually 12 months, whereas the Bondi Sands and Loving Tan are only 6 months. So that might be something to consider too. Say you're planning on only doing a self-tan maybe 2 or 3 times, and you're gonna know right away when these go bad because they start to stink. You open it and you can like smell it right away. It just doesn't smell right. So say, for example, you're only planning on using it a couple times a year, at least it'll last you a full year, where the Bondi Sands and the Loving Tan only last 6 months. So that might be something to consider too. Another thing I like about the Saint Tropez is that I don't find that it like sinks into pores. I noticed that the Bondi Sands definitely like sank into my pores a little bit more, especially on my legs, and you could definitely see like almost like a little tan ring. I don't have that as much with the Saint Tropez. Another con about the Saint Tropez and with all the tanners is that DHA smell stinks, but I find that it's not as bad with the Marshmallow, because even though I'm getting that like DHA tanner smell, I'm getting a little whiff of Marshmallow as well, so it makes it like not as bad. All right, last up, the Loving Tan. Pros, you get really dark, it dries down, it's not sticky. The color of the tan is like a beautiful, deep olive, natural dark color. This one, like I mentioned, it gets me the darkest. You're not gonna be dealing with that stickiness. But a con to this is 4 ounces. Again, 40 bucks for a 4-ounce bottle. Some pros, no parabens, and no alcohol. I think all of these are made in Australia. Let me double check. Actually, the Loving Tan and the Bondi Sands are both made in Australia. The Saint Tropez is made in the UK, I believe it's made in London. So that's my comparison on all the tanners. I hope this helped. I hope it didn't confuse you more. I know it's hard, like when you're just starting and you're trying to figure out which one I should buy, and you might be sitting there in the parking lot, or like you have your Amazon cart and you're trying to figure it out. So I hope that this helps some. Definitely check out my other tanning videos. I go into a ton more detail, especially on Saint Tropez and Loving Sands. Bondi Sands is a newer one for me that I'm trying, and I thought it would be fun and hopefully helpful to just jump on here, film a quick video, show you how I applied it, show you my results, and then kind of talk about how that fits in a more affordable tanner with some of these other ones. So that's it. Comment down below, say hi if you're new. If you have any questions regarding these tanners, let me know down below. There's probably a bunch of information that I probably left out in this video, because normally I like write notes, but I wanted to just kind of get to the basics and give you a good overview. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.